Loot. Love them, hate them, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Everybody's got an opinion on loot. Everyone. Literally everyone. I didn't expect loot to be such a contentious figure within the Magic community.
How? How did they think that was okay to even put it in the game? I'm so sick of this fucking company.
But he is, okay? And a lot of you have mischaracterized me as a loot hater. I'm not. Personally, my opinion is I don't care. I don't care at all. He could exist, he could not exist, he could become the next main character or die in the next set. I still keep living either way. I still keep doing whatever I want to do. Yeah, it is what it is. That's my opinion. But I thought everybody seems to have an opinion or a take on loot, so I asked you guys what your loot hot takes were, and I'm just gonna read them out. Alice Blackblade asked the Magic community to discuss something, and tragically loses her life in the process. I want to get to the bottom of what everybody's thinking about when it comes to loot, and hopefully we can glean why people hate them. Obviously, I don't think it's really that complicated why someone might like loot. A lot of people think he's cute. It's about where it ends. Some of you are freaky though. Maybe it goes further. But I asked you guys on Twitter, Blue Sky, and YouTube. So let's get into this. Actually, hold on before I get into anything. This just in, new little creature has dropped. Fleem. This is what it's Fleem is its name, and it's a goblin villain. Fleem just seems very like, you know, he seems like an alright guy. People are really accepting of Fleem. For now. We'll see, you know, we're gonna dig up more on Fleem and then Fleem will be out. Also though, here's something to consider. What if they presented loot knowing that loot was gonna be receiving a lot of backlash so that this could pave the way for Fleem? Fleem is the long con, guys. That's what I think. Overall, my opinion on Fleem, bueno. We like Fleem. This is a Fleem safe channel. If you like Fleem, this is your place. If you like loot, this is also your place, but we do prefer Fleem here. Okay, now we can get into it. Starting with Blue Sky. I think people who say loot's prevalence in the story is ruining Magic are so wild. Of the 3 stories he's been in, only one of them he's had an active role and portrayal that isn't he's a child. At the very end of a story, like in Outlaws of Thunder Junction and Duskmorn, we've only just begun to see loot as a person. I think it's a combination of people's exasperation of current Magic, more universes beyond, more releases, and more tropey sets recently that make lots of people not want to earnestly engage with Magic, much less its story. Loot is definitely a mascot, but so many don't even want to see him as a character. I actually really like that Aether Drift establishes Loot as a very self-aware child that is frustrated at not just all the stuff happening to him, but also his lack of knowledge on his own identity and origin. That's interesting. Sorry for rambling, I'm just passionate for MTG story and Loot. You know what? Thanks for watching. That kind of just like... that sums up anything that I would hope to say about this. It definitely puts everything into a new perspective of like, yeah, it's understandable why people would be so earnest in their dislike of loot. Obviously, there are people that hate loot just because it's the thing to do, but I think the exhaustion that a lot of people feel contributes heavily to the reluctance of the community to accept loot into the fray. Because we've had many lil guys before loot, like there was Skrelv, Tiny Bones, Thib, whatever. It was like the little guy of the month. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting so annoyed and sick of this lil guy crap. Like, it's dumb. It is so dumb. It was fun for like 2 months on Twitter, and then it quickly became annoying. And now it's just constant. And it's in the story now, too, of like, little guy shortcuts, he's just a little guy. He's just a little dude, he's just a little guy. Shut up! I'm so sick of hearing that. Little guy, he's just a little guy, his Magic's little guy. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose my mind. So, I think it's definitely unfair to Loot as a character that this is the circumstance in which he was brought about. Definitely, you're definitely not rambling. This is probably so far the best take I've ever seen on Loot. So, here you go. This is a gold star for you, Gumplum. Best Loot take ever. You're welcome. That's for you. Bradley says, my hot take is that I love him very much. And you know what? In this current climate and the Magic community, that is a hot take. Having a take in this community a lot of the time is a hot take. Liking or disliking something, taking a neutral stance, all of these things are potentially hot takes in this godforsaken community. I love it here. But good for you, Radley. I want him in every set going forward, specifically despite the insane, unwarranted hate. I don't even want Universes Beyond sets to be a safe refuge from loot. That would be so funny. You guys don't like loot? Well, guess what? The next set, it's called loot. And then we're also gonna release a loot secret layer to go along with that. Loot sleeves, another loot deck box, loot apparel, loot homeware. Guys, we're collabing with IHOP again. It's gonna be loot themed pancakes. That would be great. Honestly. Magic the Loot. Just rebrand the whole game. Loot's type line of Beast Noble, when he's still finding his place in the world, and certainly not part of an established aristocracy or government, is the game layer imposing a monarchist slant on a cute little guy who doesn't deserve to be treated that way. Loot deserves a better type line. That's wild. Anyway... He has yet to be fully weaponized against the haters. I need to show you a deck I'm working on. I'm assuming you're going to be incorporating loot into a deck, but my brain is thinking this is kind of like you're using loot as like a super weapon. He's like a sleeper agent. Loot was brainwashed by the Soviets. Loot knows what the numbers mean. I want to see like an alternate, you know, the ending portion of Black Ops where they show Alex Mason at the airport when JFK is there and it's like a bad Photoshop? Just take that, but put loot there. It didn't work on Alex Mason, but let me tell you what. It will work on loot. Get those numbers rolling. Loot will be activated soon enough. I was initially indifferent towards loot, but all the, in my opinion, unwarranted hate and animosity towards him makes me like him more in a way. I kind of love that for you. I love a spiteful enjoyment. There's a lot of people that enjoy loot out of spite, it seems. And good for you guys. You guys are the unsung heroes of this community. He is a cool, well-designed character who brings a lot of fun and intrigue to the story season. It's a pretty level-headed take. I will say, I'm gonna disagree with the well-designed part. And I will take a stance on loot here and now. He is ugly. I'm sorry to say. I think bro is kind of ugly. I'm not hating on whoever designed loot. Good for you. You clearly had a vision. But I'm not seeing that vision. The only thing I see is just an ugly orange thing. Boomers hate him because new thing bad. There are plenty of people that hate loot because new thing bad, but I don't think a majority of the people that hate loot hate him because he's new. There's so much new happening in Magic the Gathering currently that I do not think that it's the sole reason. I think it's harkening back to the first take that we read of people are so exhausted by the amount of things that are being churned out, and now we're churning out a essentially manufactured little guy for the community to fawn over. And it's kind of mid, right? In a lot of people's eyes. So it's not that it's just new thing bad, it's too much thing. And now you're gonna give me a little marketable dude? No, thank you. Loot is awesome, actually. And then they included this picture of Loot with his mouth open. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, guys. Why do some of you think this is cute? Like I said, I've said Loot looks like a Digimon. I've never seen a Digimon that's this ugly. Dang. That looks like a, what are those things from the Mandela catalog? An alternate. Seriously, dude. If I opened up my door and Loot was there, mouth wide open like that, I'm not necessarily an athletic person, but I would dust off the old punting skills real quick. And I wouldn't do it with hate in my heart. I would do it to protect my homestead. What is that? Why? It's like giving Jeff the Killer in a way, too. There's so much real estate here. And like all the teeth are right here. Do you know what I mean? And the teeth are so small. And who opens their mouth like that? No! Absolutely not! I would put Loot in the contraption. Lovingly. Heart. What contraption are you talking about? Actually, don't tell me. I don't think I want to know. But have fun with that. Or don't. I don't know. I'm scared. Okay. His mouth is too big. What is little guy eating that he needs a mouth like that? Exactly. His mouth is about half the size of his face. And for what? For what? And it's scary. And for what? It's uncanny valley. And for what? Any image of Loot with his mouth open takes any part of him that was even vaguely cute and just atomizes it. I'm morbidly curious to see what Loot would look like animated. You know, like speaking or like It would be scary. Alright, that concludes all the takes I have for Blue Sky. Now we'll dust off Twitter and see what's over there. This image is one secret layer drop away from being playable. Yeah, this is the image I accompanied my my tweet with. And honestly, Dr. Pepper Malpractice, I agree with you. I agree. Comment down below what card you think this would be a reskin of for a secret layer drop. I gotta know. I think he's totally fine. I don't get the hatred. Him being slightly ugly makes him more MTG, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, but no. Like, he's too Digimon coded. Like, okay, being a little ugly, a little unsightly, sure, that doesn't make him not a Magic the Gathering character. Look at any old image of Karn. Holy man. I love him for that, though. I love Karn for his ugly. Truly. Like, look at bro. Oh no. Why did Urza give him a nose? What is he smelling? Anyway, yeah, I think in a way, him being ugly makes him fit in more, because we love ugly creatures here. But, again, he's just too Digimon coded. It's crazy. And no one is saying this. I feel like I'm alone here. He's meant to be cute, but he's an ugly freak. Dang! You gonna shove him in a locker and take his lunch money too? An ugly freak. Chill out, okay? Yeah, I called him ugly before, but I wouldn't stoop to the level of calling him a freak. Tone it down. We're talking about a kid. Talking about a little fictional creature child, okay? Calm down. You're here? I want you here. You can call him ugly. Do not call him a freak. That's where I draw the line. Ugly, stupid baby creature. Deserves no love, only hate. Also should be Gruul, not Teamer. Amen, brother. To the last part, not the ugly baby creature. Man, that's a hardline stance you're taking there. And I would say I have 1 foot in your camp. Well, okay. I've got 1 foot and a shoulder in your camp. Because he should be Gruul, not Teamer. For sure. And he is also ugly. But, you know, clearly a lot of people love him. And he deserves that love. His design doesn't really belong in Magic the Gathering. The proportions are more of a cartoon than an actual creature. I wouldn't mind him if the design was more of a realistic animal. He could have been a baby Leonin werewolf or Vyashno. That's how I pronounce that. I just think the design is not coherent. Yeah. Because to make him a Fomori was a choice, for sure, because we know goose egg about the Fomori. I think the vagueness surrounding the Fomori helps a little bit with what they're trying to do with Loot, but I also think they could have just as easily made him, like you said, like a Leonin, a werewolf, Vyashno. How do you pronounce Vyashino? Vyashino. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Vyashino. That sounds ridiculous. Vyashino. Don't care. It's like, I say Guruk, but it's only until I interacted with other Magic players that I heard people say Garuk, and I refuse to say Garuk. That just sounds wrong. I'm sorry. Was I hallucinating when I heard Nicol Bolas pronounce it Guruk Wild Speaker in the Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013 intro?
This Guruk Wild Speaker.
Did he stutter? Did I mishear that? I used the Bolas pronunciation. Okay. Yeah, Nicol Bolas is kind of an overrated lizard, but I feel like he knows how to pronounce Planeswalker names. If he was a Vyashino, Loot, not Garuk. If he was a Vyashino, that just sounds wrong. Vyashino. Whatever. If he was a more familiar creature type, I feel like the transition would have been a lot easier. But even so, I agree. His design is jarring, to say the least. The wild hate he gets is super cringe, and the jokes about extreme violence toward him are unfunny and a total red flag, especially given he's portrayed as a child. Right, but let's keep in mind that he's not a real child. We're not talking about a real child. We're not even talking about a human or humanoid child here. We're talking about a fictional character. Now, I will say, like, I am the type of person, I think the absurd nature of saying you want to beat Loot with hammers or put him in a microwave, it's completely absurd. Crazy thing to say about just a cute little marketable character. That's what makes it funny. But that being said, I do think that it's obnoxious when people take these jokes and tell them or throw them in the face of people who just genuinely want to discuss their love of Loot. Like, that's stupid. If you're the type of person that when you see someone enjoying loot or talking about how much they enjoy loot, if you talk about how you want to stick them in a garbage disposal and turn it on and then turn it off again just to see what would happen, you're deranged. Don't put that in spaces that it doesn't belong. Read the room. If you're having a discussion with people or you're posting in your own spaces about these stupid jokes, fine. But if you're going out of your way to ruin other people's enjoyment of something with these jokes, you're lame. Plain and simple. So I can see both sides of it. Obviously, I participate in these odd loot jokes, but I know time and place. Right? Time and place. Like, if I was talking to you about loot, I want to know why you like loot. I want to engage in that conversation in a way that isn't just talking about wild ways that I want to get rid of loot or whatever. You know, it's just, people just need to learn to read the room at the end of the day. I'm sorry, but the next one right after that just says he should have been hit by Chandra's car in Aether Drift. Okay, let's move on to YouTube. That concludes Twitter. I despise loot. He represents predatory capitalism from a literal real-world standpoint, and in-universe he represents nothing at all. Just like porgs from Star Wars, or minions, or other tiny little baby creatures created in media with no other purpose but to be a cute guy to win over the fans. There's absolutely no depth, no reason besides trying to make an extra buck to include him in any stories. He's lazy writing, and his existence is another thing to take away the depth and brevity that these stories used to have. But I'm like totally chill about it though. I don't think I really have anything to add. The people behind the story are doing their best to do something with Lute as a character. I do think it is definitely a manufactured little guy versus more of like a naturally occurring little guy. Like a naturally occurring little guy. A little guy in nature. I feel sick saying little guy. Little guy. Skrelv is a great example. Take Skrelv. Everybody rallied around Skrelv. Yeah, Skrelv, I love you, dude. Right? They're freaking putting him in a sock and just whipping him around like crazy. Anyways, Skrelv is a good example of like a naturally occurring cute character that people kind of gravitated towards. And in that sense, like, I'm sure there was a bit of like foresight and planning into making that character kind of cute and giving him a little bit of a cute backstory or whatever. But the zeitgeist behind it was all the community. It wasn't like pushed heavily, like there's all of a sudden now there's a Skrelv binder and a dice bag and there's all this new Skrelv merch. Whoa, Skrelv is the face of the set. No, but you get that with loot because loot is intentional, and when you try to push something like that, then people are gonna not be as receptive towards it. So yeah, I think he's cute in promo materials, but the art style is super incongruous, and him being forced into the story just inherently makes him dislikable. Yes, but I will disagree with the promo material stuff. Some of the promo stuff looks good, but when you go into the merchandise, put up a picture of the binder that they released for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, where Lute's just like with his mouth open. That is just graphic content. Nothing against the artist at all. Okay? But what? I think loot is an artificial way to make what Thibblethip was already becoming to the community. Thibblethip was a little guy that the fans liked that started from people fixating on one card from a set. Artists then memed him into artwork, and his lack of story, market appeal, and details were not an issue because he was never originally designed to be a mascot. The name design and centricity to multiple storylines makes him feel like the kid of one of your parents' coworkers that you have to spend time with, even if they are not someone you vibe with. I dig silly little guys in sets. Give me a Stormcrow, Gremlin, Goblin, or whatever, and I'll be happy in a set. However, if you go to shove it into every set, like Kellen, then I'm gonna turn away from it. First of all, Kellen catching strays. Why? Man down. But amen. This is what I was talking about before with, I used Skrelv as an example, but you perfectly encapsulated Thibblethip as well. It's an organic way that the lil guy can come around and be rallied around. And I think the insertion of Thibblethip into a mascot character for Magic the Gathering was done organically and well, and Thibblethip is so well loved by the community. But obviously that did not happen with Loot. Yeah, comparing it to the kid of one of your parents' coworkers that you have to spend time with is so apt. It's so apt. Marketable plushie design made to sell merch to millennials that say doggo and pupper unironically. Don't really care for the cards either. Amen. Definitely curious about how it would taste. Microwave doesn't seem like the right approach though. I've heard a lot of people say like air fryer, right? I don't know. I'm not curious though about how he would taste. I don't want to eat him. Just because I want to microwave him doesn't mean I want to eat him. I just want to warm him up a little. If you took the Japanese Aether Drift art of Lute and put that in the microwave, what would come out would be that dice bag. That thing is cursed. He looks really bad in every illustration, clashes horribly with the style of the game, but he's my ugly Funko Pop child, and I love him. Actual hot take, I want to see more of him in the story. I like the characterization he's gotten so far, and the hook of his unknown origins has me. In a way, it has me too. I'm curious, but my curiosity is waning more and more as the sets go by and we're getting less and less and he's getting more and more merchandise, you know? It's just like, come on. What are we doing? Please. I want to care. I want to like this, but it's hard. You're making it hard for me. I actually really like Lute, and I think what they've got going on with him, Jason Vraska, is interesting. I wish they'd have focused on the plot line instead of having them show up briefly before disappearing again. Yeah, I agree. It's like, here's an entire set story. Here's Jason Vraska. What are they doing here? We're not gonna tell you. They're gone now. Awesome. Can't wait for the next set to get even less information. It's odd pacing. Like, I know that Magic's story is now go, 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 go. Because you have these rapid fire stories, like, we're going here, we're going here. Like, where have we been so far? Like, we went to the cowboy plane, then we went to the cute animal plane, and then we went to, we were doing freaking death races. And now we're going to Tarkir, woohoo, dragons. And then for a brief moment, it's like, Jason Vraska, ugly Digimon. No, I won't elaborate. It's jarring. It's very jarring. It's hard to keep up with it, and it's hard to care about what they're doing in the background, because I know every time they show up in the story, they're gonna be like, I'm not taking questions at this time. Please leave me alone. Please leave me and my ugly child alone. I dislike him in the way I dislike minions. At the same time, not microwavable. Sorry you feel that way. How are we feeling about a pizza oven, then? Let me know. Not my cup of tea, but I think he's good branding. I think they need to do a better job making him more familiar. He needs to be in some more art at the common level, and he needs to be doing silly things. Pikachu was cute and familiar because we watched him walk and talk, but we don't get that from Cardboard. That is such a good comparison. There's more of a connection formed with Pikachu because you can see Pikachu walk and talk. You also see the dynamic between Pikachu and Ash, etc., etc. There's more going on with Pikachu than there is with Lute. Let's just say he was locked in a vault for a reason. Let's just say they should have left him in there. It's the Baby Yoda trend. Look at all the baby thing trend 2 to 3 years ago, and remember how long it takes to make an MTG set. Yeah, could be, could be. Hot take incoming. Lute isn't inherently a problem. The biggest problem was how they introduced them and what they did after. Introducing such an important character in a set they knew would underperform was a really bad idea. And then, what they did after just made it worse. Honestly, if he was introduced in a set that people loved, no one would care. I personally enjoyed Thunder Junction, as we needed a bit of levity in the story after everything that happened previously, but I knew immediately it needed to be handled in a very specific way for the majority of players to like it. They failed at that, so now a lot of people hate Lute. Good point. Very good point. I do forget kind of how they introduce Lute of like, whoa, we gotta get this thing out of this vault. It's so secretive. Even Nicol Bolas was trying to get rid of it. Oh my gosh, this is it. This is what it is. Anyways, I remember being pretty underwhelmed by what was in the vault at the end of the story. Underwhelmed, but optimistic, as I usually am with Magic. I'm very optimistic about how things are going, but there's a lot of different things that contributed to the reception of Lute. He's a waste of space, just like Jason Vraska at this point. All three need to be written out so they can focus on all new characters and planes. I don't know about that one. I think there are times where Jason Vraska annoy me, but I don't think they should be written out entirely. I think we should still maintain a grasp on the characters that Magic does have. It does also feel like a rehashing of the same thing over and over again when you see these same people come back over and over and over again. Guys, here's how we solve all of our problems. Resurrect Yawgmoth. Just do it. It will not make sense. But riddle me this. Do you think anyone will care? Do you think anyone will care? Yes, there are cards that depict Yawgmoth dying. But did he really die? He just faked his death. That was a body double. The whole entire set was a big allegory for something, right? Just bring him back and then we can focus on that for a while, you know? And then Yawgmoth wins this time. And then we just wrap it up. And then finally, someone just said, rat. All right. That concludes the loot hot takes that you guys sent to me, and I think we got a lot out of this. I hope that this kind of expanded your outlook on how the community feels about loot, whether you like or dislike loot. I don't think loot is the worst thing to happen to Magic. Loot is an era, just like a lot of things. He's a poster child for this era of Magic, and like most eras, they come and they go. I personally am looking to the future. I'm looking forward to that Yawgmoth resurrection and the day that Dagon Blackblade comes back in the story, because that will happen. I'm sure of it. I'm holding on to that hope. It is that hope that gets me out of bed every morning. So don't disappoint me, Wizards. Please. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Special shout out to my Patreon patrons. I know how to say words. My Reforged patrons are on the screen now, and extra special shout out to Mirror Master, my Shadow Slayer tier patron. You guys are wonderful. If you'd like to support me further, feel free to check out my Patreon. That's all I got for you. See you in the next one.